Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one was sent in by PharoahOwar. That's right, he's back, sort of. Yeah, for those who are new to the channel, or new to the community, he was a YouTuber, and a great dude. He was, recording a load of content about, I don't know, I think it's been 7 months, I think. His computer decided to overheat and melt his graphics card and processor, so he's playing on a potato right now, so he's having to put YouTube on hold, which is very sad. But he was playing some games, and he sent me some, which is brilliant. It's great to hear from him, and here's one of the games he played. I'll probably play a couple of them, I think. He's had some good games that he sent me. So, yeah, PharoahOwar's back. Yay! So anyway, deckhand mobs he's got on the front line, including the Tide of Skjold. He's got a couple of Depth Guard. So he's against the Wood Elves, right? And Depth Guard, they're in a weird place because they're one of those things that will kill all of the infantry and to some degree all the cavalry of the Wood Elves, but will die in seconds under a load of arrow fire. So they're very tough. They have to get killed straight away or they'll carry the entire battle. They can just do so much damage against lightly armoured things, which is basically everything that the Wood Elves have. So they're great, but they have to be in combat to heal, and they have no missile resist, so they'll just get shot to pieces. So they have to be really careful. So they're an interesting one. They'll either win it or get wiped out in the first 10 seconds. It's tough. So anyway, here you can see a fleet captain. So he's gone a bit cheap here. He hasn't got one of the legendary lords. No, he's just got a polearm vampire's fleet admiral. He's also got a gunnery wight to buff all of his guns, because he's got 2 deck gunners and the shade wraith gunners. These guys are great against the Wood Elves, provided they can get good line of sight. But they need to get to the top of this hill to start getting good shots on things. It's a bit risky being down here. I probably would have gone in this corner, I think, and let them come down the hill as you shoot at them. So anyway, yeah, it happens though. So here you can see rotting Prometheans, so a load of armor on these guys, which is handy, but they're a bit of a weird one, I think, in this matchup, because yeah, they have a load of armor, but you're going to see a load of Eternal Guard and things like that. I think there's a lot of counters to the Rotting Prometheans, so I'm not so sure about bringing these guys, but they're interesting nonetheless. He does some polearms in the back as well. These guys are weirdly good against Wild Riders, because they have a lot of mass. There's just so many, they will bog down cavalry, and that anti-large will get a lot of good damage in. So it's kind of bizarre. They're good against very elite stuff, well, in this matchup. Better heavy cav will just smash straight through them, but Wild Riders, they get hurt quickly by these guys, so it's interesting to see. So that about does it for these guys. But look, yeah, Wild Riders with shields back there. Wild Riders with shields back there. Here we have Way Watchers and Deepwood Scouts. Over here, more Way Watchers and Deepwood Scouts. Some Azrai Spears. Oh, some bats as well. I forgot, there's some bats and some Scurvy Dogs knocking around. And more Scurvy Dogs in the back. So, a lot of Vanguard going on both sides here. Winterheart Guard, they're unbreakable, which is very handy. They're not going to get terrified away. They're going to fight to the last. And, of course, they're Eternal Guard, you know, so armor-piercing, anti-large. And more Eternal Guard on the other side. Of course, all with shields, because you're going to get gunned down. And with such low armor, even just cheap guns are going to do a lot of damage. You know, it doesn't have to be armor-piercing, so you need the shields. Also, a Branch Wraith, and we have Orion. Orion, I think, is pretty good in this matchup. He can be a bit of a big target for artillery, but a lot of the time you don't want to bring a lot of artillery because, well, you're going to get wiped out by stalking arrows pretty quickly. Artillery crews crumble in seconds. So, speeding things up. So as you can see, starting to chase these units down. A lot of damage on the deck gunners straight away, which is definitely good. You want to take these guys out early, for sure. Because as you can see, they crumble very fast. These guys are at critical binding, and that's with an invocation and a heck, putting their health back up, which is pretty crazy. They're starting to fire, and they're not getting the best shots in, because of this hill. They're not getting good direct shots. So they're not doing so well. This is not a good position for them. And now Wild Riders, they're running into the back, but there are deckhands ready to, you know, stop them coming in. But over here, you can see the Depth Guard are taking a lot of damage from the Deepwood Scouts as they're chasing. But we have some Fellbats coming in and some Scurvy Dogs coming in, so they're going to get stuck very quickly. Here, zombie deckhands mobs, they're taking a lot of damage on the charge, which is pretty good, you know, for the Wild Riders here. But looks like they're getting a bit bogged down for a while. Over here, Deepwood Scouts are going to get cut to ribbons. Now they've been caught, the Depth Guard are going to have no problem murdering them. It's pretty insane. I mean, Depth Guard, look at that, 70 weapon strength. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So over here, Still, stuff trying to shoot. Way Watchers, very healthy, use a lot of their ammunition though. And now they're just shooting at deckhands. So that's perfect. That is perfect for Pharaoh. If he's wasting his time shooting at fodder like this, it's a waste of arrows. It is not going to pay for itself. So Hornswoggle, try and slow them down. Which, you know, it's not quite enough, I don't think. See, 32 speed. Oh, 45 speeds, they might get caught. They might get caught. So over here, front line is starting to move in. And of course, you know, all of this hassle just to get rid of 2 units. And there's still Way Watchers and Deepwood Scouts on the other side as well, which is pretty dangerous. But here you can see the Wild Riders, their charge was broken by the Scurvy Dogs, so they didn't get a good charge on the Depth Guard. And the Depth Guard, with their 70 weapon strength, only 40 armor on the Wild Riders, they are being cut to ribbons. That's absolutely insane. But an Earthblood going down, try and keep them in the fight, but they are being completely chewed up. Instead of microing, you know, using some spells to keep them alive, no, run them away. Don't have them fighting Depth Guard. You want a cycle charge, if anything, but keep away. That's just, no, don't try. So there we go, Wild Riders cut to ribbons. More Wild Riders are coming in though, and they will get a good charge on those Depth Guard. So, some spells going off, well, the free ones, it's Orion's abilities. So Hawk's Talon missed, and looks like the Hounds of Orion, he changed his mind there. So, some Invocation of Heck, keeping the front line a lot more secure, because he has to keep this back line safe. Because the back line is doing a great job firing at these Way Watchers now. Now they got this nice downhill shot into these guys, it's going very well. And the Scurvy Dogs are keeping them wrapped up and busy. Orion is running in to try and help. But it looks like the Deepwood Scouts are running straight into more trouble, which is pretty amazing. So over here you can see the Depth Guard are really struggling at this point. They are not having a good day at all. Since there was a clean charge on them, they've just taken too much damage and they lost too many models. And that's the thing, as long as Depth Guard keep their model count high, they'll do great. But as soon as they start losing models, they can't heal, okay? The hunger does not restore models. So it's not like they can just keep healing through lost guys. No. So, good charge, kills a few units, and suddenly they're far less effective. So they got wiped out pretty well there by the Wild Riders. So, yeah, they managed to wipe out one unit, well, almost, but the other one managed to get in and finish them off. So over here, Scurvy Dogs still chasing these Way Watchers, and they are still getting shot at by all these guys, which is pretty hilarious. Pole Arms will actually match up brilliantly against Orion. Yeah, they'll take ages to kill. They have a load of health, a huge model count, and Orion just can't kill them quick enough. So that anti-large, it'll help fight Orion, and that's pretty great. Orion only has 30 melee defense. He does not have very good melee defense at all. So over here, Pole Arms managing to get in the way of the Wild Riders, which again is perfect. It's great just using these to screen, because as you can see, these Wild Riders are already suffering. They are losing models so fast against such cheap, crappy units. So this is perfect for Pharaoh. Absolutely perfect. So here, I think that was another Earthblood. Yep, trying to keep his unbreakable units in the fight, as you would. Over here, it looks like the Way Watchers, who were trying to chase the crabs. Yeah, the crabs ran away. So the Way Watchers ended up running into some deckhand mob, which is not ideal. So they're being kind of wasted, almost out of ammunition. These guys, only 21 left, almost out of ammo. These guys, plenty of ammo, but there's only 17 Way Watchers left, which is insane. They've taken so much damage. Those Scurvy Dogs were a huge problem. Because basically, the Wild Riders, yeah, they've been thrown away a bit. They've been thrown into a couple of pretty bad situations when they would have been brilliant for just running up and down, you know, managing to clear things away from the Deepwood Scouts. But they weren't played defensively. They were used offensively and kept ending up in bad engagements because Pharaoh was able to just constantly counter them, constantly rearrange his lines so they'd run into things like the pole arms, which just cut them to pieces. And yeah, they've gone. They've gone. So no more Wild Riders. Also, almost no more ammunition. And that second unit of Depth Guard has barely been scratched. So these guys are still doing great. 45 models. 45 models. They are totally fine. So that's pretty damn great. This is the best thing for Pharaoh, honestly. Those Depth Guard being as healthy as they are is perfect. Especially because he's run out of ammo. Well, he's running out of ammo, or guys. I mean, yeah, got a few shots left on these Way Watchers, but there aren't many Way Watchers left in that unit. So he's, yeah, he's crippled, basically. The Wood Elves have been crippled here. Well, their ranged has, anyway. So, Depth Guard, they're actually going to try and chase down these Way Watchers. Over here, Orion has been bogged down by very cheap units, and you see he's taking a ton of damage. Seriously, pole arms are crazy good anti-large. They are so cheap and affordable. Very slow, which is one problem, but if they do catch anything, or get in the way of anything, they do really well. You know, surprisingly well for their cost. So here, a load of shots are being fired. into Orion. He is taking a huge amount of damage from all of these deck gunners, because these guys are still alive. They are still alive, even after all this pressure. Unfortunately, though, the Azrai Spears have charged in from the back finally, and those crabs are going to die in seconds. The anti-large and the armor-piercing, those rotting Prometheans are screwed. They are just going to get taken out completely. Hornswoggle try and limit their combat effectiveness. Hopefully these zombies will be able to come in and do some damage to them. And it looks like they are, but it's going to be too late for the rotting Prometheans, unfortunately. Over here, the Vampire Fleet Admiral is dealing with these Eternal Guard. I mean, he'll do fine. He's not a large target, so they don't have the best melee attack at 27, and he's got 60 melee defense. Yeah, he's happy. He's happy in there, and I'm pretty sure he's got the hunger. Yeah, he does, so he can clear them up easily. Here, Orion is trying to get into this back line. He has no choice but to charge this stuff and try and shut these down. They will get shut down very quickly once they're wrapped up in melee. So it's worth doing. And Earthblood trying to keep his health up. Of course, he does have the Cloak of Isha, so once he's below about 1,000 health, he will just regenerate very quickly. But he's taking a huge amount of damage here. Look at all that. Wonderful. So he's taking a huge amount of damage. Polearms really struggling to keep up with him. But once again, Way Watchers are just firing at them, which is perfect. This is great. Just let them get shot. It's fine. They're not expensive. They're not worth the ammunition. Over here, you can see those Deeper Scouts did get shattered, but the Depth Guard are chasing, and that is exactly what the Wood Elf player wants. That's bad for Pharaoh. Pharaoh needs to move back. Come on, man. Come back. Come back with those guys. You need them. So anyway, Gunnery White, he's still running around, and he's able to shoot things, which is nice. You know, good missile damage. He can just take the odd pot shot. Here you can see the Admiral is trying to chase down Orion. But, yeah, looks like Orion's getting away. He is getting shot at a lot by the Shade Wraith Gunners, but they're about to get shut down. Those Azrai Spears are going to cut them to ribbons very quickly. So he's doing his best to send in the pole arms just to try and bog this stuff down, but Azrai Spears are quick. So that's bad. So once again, Orion's still running away. He's getting his health back up. Cloak of Isha healing him as he runs. Way Watchers still firing into quite cheap units. So, pretty great. Pretty great situation. And finally, it looks like, yep, the Depth Guard are coming back in. So the Depth Guard are going to come into this hill. The Gunnery White is running up this hill. The Polearm's going to run up this hill. You know, the Admiral with Polearm. They're all going to run up this hill. This stuff is lost. Forget about it. So, still some pot shots at Orion. Hornswoggle on him to slow him down. So, you know, it helps. It all helps. Down to 0 armor right now, which is pretty nice. And he's still getting shot at. Cloak of Isha still healing him. But you can see his healing cap is approaching, which is pretty great. Of course, Orion is unbreakable. So even if the rest of the army folds, he's still going to have to get dealt with. So that's a problem. So here, some hidden foes have been uncovered. They're out of ammunition, though, so they have no choice but to just run in. Same with these Wave Watchers. They have to run in. So everything's just running in now. And nothing has much armor, which is where these guys shine. Depth Guard shine at chopping through unarmored targets. It's kind of obscene, frankly. And still 42 models. They've only lost 3 models, so they're in great stead. There's... yeah, you couldn't be in much better position at this point, to be honest. So, Depth Guard are going to be running in. Azrai Spears, with their 15 armor, are just going to get chopped to pieces. They are going to get chopped up by these Depth Guard. No problem. So the Polearm, I don't think he needs to be that far away. Yeah, he's getting back in the fight. That's good. Gunnery White, he's in the fight. Orion, he's way back here. I think he's been throwing javelins, as he does. But here you can see the Azrai Spears are getting cut to pieces. And with, what's it called? Van Horstman Speculum, that's the one. Which is an item that the Admirals have. They have very low melee attack right now at 10. And they're not getting the benefit of their anti-large, so they're not able to hit anything, really. Yep, still 42 models on the Depth Guard. They're having a whale of a time. Branch Wraith has 60 armor, which is middling, you know. It's not really going to be able to stop the 70 weapon strength of these guys all that well. Orion only at 30 armor. Yeah, Depth Guard are going to cut him to pieces if he ever fights them. So he's trying to deal with some of the Lords and Heroes, but it's just a big blob. It's very difficult to cycle charge particular units when it's just a massive blob of stuff that's all dangerous. Either anti-large or huge weapon strength, or more anti-large, or while you're trying to run away, you're getting shot by a Gunnery White that has really good missile damage. So you've got no options. So Orion, no options. Hornswoggle on him once again, try and lower his speed and melee defense down to 3, which is, you know, pretty much non-existent. But yeah, he's running away. He's still very quick, Orion. But now though, the Branch Wraith, not going to last. Not going to last against all this stuff. So, not great for the Branch Wraith. And the Gunnery White is still shooting at him. Orion throwing the odd javelin, but, Yeah, he's going to have to get involved. He's only got 300 health left. Healing cap, super close right now. And I think he's going to get hit in melee in a second as well by the Gunnery White, because his melee defense is poor. It is poor. So he's taking some more damage. And now the fleet captain is charging in. Going to get a lovely hit on him. 83 health. 83 health he went down to there. And one more hit in the back. And Orion is down. Brutal. So, Pyrrhic victory. There's some brilliant engagements in that. I think the Wood Elves, brilliant strategy. I think that worked perfectly, being able to shut down a lot of valuable things. I mean, the deck gunners, they didn't seem like much of a threat because they were constantly being harassed. But if they can just line up, and you've got some fodder, you know, sort of between the gunners and the Way Watchers and the like, they can just sit back and fire at everything. They have really good range. You know, they have better range than the Way Watchers, so they can just take pot shots anytime these become visible. So they can get a lot of good work done and shoot some very valuable targets. And if they don't go with the full range, they're great at just firing into cavalry or just focusing down a lord like Orion. Or if there was a dragon in the air, just keep shooting at him. You know, the damage adds up very quickly. Depth Guard, I think, are fantastic, but keeping them alive is so difficult. But Pharaoh managed to do that. He managed to keep one Depth Guard completely fine because he was able to harass the back line so much with all the scurvy dogs. So I think the Wood Elf strategy here was really good, but it wasn't quite executed right. I think it was a strategy that he has probably used before, you know, having the Wild Riders being on the offensive like that. But seeing the composition of the Vampire Coast here, he should have played more defensively with the Wild Riders. He should have tried to keep these guys safe rather than just chasing down units, you know, as they were left on their own, because those units on their own were enough to be able to do a ton of damage to these guys. It's not exactly what you want. You know, you got the archers, get the archers to kill the Depth Guard, and you don't have to worry about them. It's that simple. Shut them down early. These guys, yeah, you want to shut them down too. Those opening volleys were brilliant for that. But I think Pharaoh was just able just to harass the right units and keep the right units of his safe to be able to win out. And I think it's fantastic. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.